Hi, you haven't heard from me in a while. My name is Teresa, in case you have forgotten or in case you are new here. There have been quite a few things that have been going on. Overwhelm, just so much. But this weekend is BookNet Fest and I am making friendship bracelets for it, and I think I'm just gonna vlog the last few ones that I have. There are quite a few left. I have my beads of different colors. I have my scissors and my string. I really recommend this string for making friendship bracelets. Very elastic, very bendable, very easy to tie. I also have this one, which I don't recommend very much. I made like the first half of the ones that I made with that string and they are not as good. Which one are we going to be making? But I have Hot Folk and Hot Ghoul as some gender neutral options. I also have Book Ghoul, Book Slut, stuff like that. This one, I think I'm going to do Give Books Not Bands, because that's the vibe. That should be what we strive for, right? How does this pitch go? Does a Z go like that? You're probably wondering what BookNet Fest is. This will be my first year going, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm aware, oh, I forgot the end. I'm aware of BookNet Fest because of Reads with Rachel, as well as Natalie from Weirdo Book Club. They go to this. It's in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, which I know some people do not like, and I understand that, but it is a bookish event for book people, fans of books, fans of bookish content creators, and bookish content creators as well. There are indie authors that go there. I believe this year they are sponsored by New Romantics Bookstore. Don't quote me. So it's a bookish event. It doesn't have like big name authors there like some bookish events do, but it's really more about celebrating the bookish community over getting like special edition books and like getting books signed and stuff like that. Although they do have a book signing, and what goes on there is that there are panels about a bunch of subjects, a bunch of topics that are relevant to the bookish space. I believe I could be wrong here, there's a discussion on dark romance this year. I know there's a discussion on book banning this year and the current state of that. There's usually discussions about diversity in books and the bookish space as well, and just a bunch of topics like that, and I think that that is important. There's also fun events. There's a prom, which is an additional event that you have to pay for, but like this event is very affordable. There's a meet and greet, another additional event, optional event to go to, where you get to meet the people who are there, and it's kind of like a good event to make friends in the bookish space. I feel like at least that is what my intention is going in. There's a book swap, which I have a collection of books that I think I'm going to show you all, and yeah, it's just a fun time to hang out with people. This event has been put together by Mari from My Name is Marina's and Samantha from Books and Tomes. So it's a bookish event thrown by seasoned bookish content creators, and I have heard nothing but good things the past 3-4 years that it's been around. I think that there was a gap because of COVID, and I don't know how long that gap has been, but it has a track record of being a good event, a fun event, and I am very excited to go and meet some friends that I've made in the bookish community. and make more new friends, hopefully. I have crippling social anxiety, so I am bringing my partner along, and they are going to be hanging out at the hotel. They do not have a ticket for the event, but they have been kind enough to accompany me to deal with my anxiety, help me deal with my anxiety after socializing. I don't know if anyone else has to have a support person there when they go to social events, but I need one. Otherwise, I will go back to my room after the day and just second guess everything that I've done. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. You know, I adjusted the camera so that you guys can actually kind of see what I'm doing instead of just you seeing me talk. Anyways, as I was saying, so yeah, I have a bit of social anxiety. In fact, when I went to the Taylor Swift concert, I made quite a few friendship bracelets, and I gave only 2 of them out, and that was because someone approached me. I didn't approach anyone. Because I was too scared to. I don't really know how to start that conversation, and I kind of overthink it. Yeah, so we'll see if that gets done. That was 3. I have to count. I tried to do 25 to 30 beads on each side. I think that's a pretty alright number for usually less letters. I think though 20 should still be good. So I have 15 on each side right now. And I do in intervals of 5. I have a very methodical method. 2, 3, methodical method. Oh my god. 4, 5. Is that 5? Yes. Alrighty, then we tie them. I don't pull too tight because then it will break, and I get so freaking mad about it. We have our give books, not bands. Beautiful. That's kind of the fastest that I've done. I usually get distracted by something on my phone, but I'm using my phone as my camera. Let's see. That goes up here. I'm also, because I told my best friend that I am making friendship bracelets, and she's like, I forget how the conversation even began, but we were talking about her cat as well, and basically I'm going to make a friendship collar for her kitty. Did I decide not to do this one? I think I may have. Okay. You know what? That's fine for now. I'm okay with that. It's really hard because this is also the same beads that I used when I went to the Taylor Swift concert. So because of that, I'm missing some really vital letters that are used in a lot of words. I also really don't like this yellow transparent one very much. I just think it's very hard to read, and I don't like using the same color next to each other. unless they are, unless all of the words are, all of the letters are the same color. I also do have to decide at this juncture whether I'm going to put a space between the words with a bead or whether I want it to be one word. Is folk, do people use folk singularly? Because that's what I'm trying to do here. And in that, it's just, I'm thinking about it and I think that's all, folks. And that's definitely plural. So does that mean folk is singular? These are the thoughts that I have. I tend to go towards pinks and blues and purples. So I'm like forcing myself to use colors that I normally would not. I know my last few videos have been about censorship and about the book banning that's going on in my county. It's still going on. In fact, it's worse than ever. Ugh, I hate that there are some of the colors have gotten mixed up with other colors and it's bothering me. Okay, so we have Hot Folk and Give Books Not Bans. Let's do another book banning one. So for vlogging, I am doing this and then I am going to show the books that I am bringing for the book swap. And how the book swap works is you bring your books, and for each book that you give, you get a ticket that you can spend for books at the book swap, which happens on Saturday. And this is just a 2-day event. I haven't mentioned that. BookNet Fest is a 2-day event. It's a Friday and a Saturday, which I'm actually not sure if I like. I guess I'll find out. But so our next one is just fuck book bans. Fuck. What's your favorite curse word? Probably fuck. Does she say fuck? Yeah, I think so. No, seriously, fuck book bans. This is... I'm sure you guys have heard about the book banning in the Library of Congress, where they have removed a number of books that are inappropriate for children. They try to say that this is porn, but a lot of the books that they remove from not only the Library of Congress, but from Pasco County public libraries and school libraries across Florida and other states, they contain just transgender characters, gay characters, and Black people and people of color. And a lot of them do not have explicit content. These are just the identity of these characters, and apparently book banners just are like, yeah, no, that's porn, which it's not. Maybe they have a little bit of confusion about what porn is because they are repressed. A little jokey joke there, but no, it's likely because they are using that term as a guise to remove anything that they do not like, and they know that porn is a big scary word, and if you are like, you don't want kids watching, consuming porn, do you? If you are like, well, yeah, no, I'm against what you're doing, it's like, so you want kids to consume porn. instead of the reality, which is, I mean, first, these books do not fall under the definition of porn, which is sexual content created in a way where the acts portrayed are intended to sexually arouse. Whether the contents of a book sexually arouses you or not does not factor in to the intent of the author writing it, because there are authors that intend to titillate, and those books are called erotica, and they are labeled as such. Besides the fact that they're using the definition of porn incorrectly, there's also just the fact that the reality is that in today's day and age, and even before this, because there were magazines as well, there's art, there's books, there's erotica. It is just something that children interface with. They will eventually come across something titillating. How they respond to that is not up to the school or up to the teacher or up to the author. It is completely up to the parents. Keeping to the topic of book banning, I do have an idea. Not really a script, just an intent to make a video about book banning in Germany in the 1930s and 40s. It is the big boogeyman that we like to draw parallels to, as well as being the thing that book banners love to insist that there are no parallels to it at all. And so that is one that I want to do. I also want to do one on the Hays Code, because people are just like, well, books just need a rating system like movies. And the thing is I don't think people really understand what that means, how the people who determine the rating system are kind of shrouded in mystery, and the criteria is really amorphous, and it's not really something that is productive. I am currently packing for BookNet Fest, which I will be getting to the hotel tonight. The event starts tomorrow. It's been a lot. I look like a baby right now with my hair slicked back and literally no makeup or anything on, and it's making me a little bit self-conscious, I have to say. But I want to show the books that I'm bringing for the book swap, and also show my completed friendship bracelets. I honestly kind of wanted to do more, but I did not have the time. So we have, ooh, I don't know if this is gonna work. It says womp womp. Womp womp. Womp womp, it's not working. So these are like the general ones that I've made. There are a couple of special ones that I made that I will show as well. First, we have, is it gonna, let me, I think I got it, if it focuses. First we have fuck. At this point I did not have any F's available anymore. Then we have, this is another one I made that you guys saw. We have hot folk for our NB friends. We have a rainbow BNF. We have, this one is just going to be rainbow and these little flower smiley faces. I liked some with no letters, just because. Get lit, you know, like get literature, but also, you know, it's a party. We have a pearl BNF number here. We have another get lit. We have a green and red BNF. but I don't feel like this is like too Christmassy. A pink BNF one. Oh, another pink BNF. We have this transparent BNF one. Obviously, I made a lot of BNF ones because of the fact that, you know, we're all there for the event. This one is TBR Slut. I was just thinking of myself there. I love a good to be read pile. Do I get to them? No. Okay, we have Shadow Daddy. We have my favorite trope, Slow Burn. We have another BNF, an orange one. I kind of like this one. We have SMG Stan, which is Sylvia Moreno Garcia Stan. I believe a few people who are coming are big Sylvia Moreno Garcia fans, so I just wanted that option out there. We have Book Simp. I love a good simp, so we have another rainbow BNF. We have another slut. This one is, whoop, come on, Book Slut. Oh yeah, this is another SMG Stan, Sylvia Moreno Garcia Stan bracelet. And the previous one, the red and black, I did red and black for Silver Nitrate because the cover is a beautiful red and black. And then I did these colors, this purple, teal, and white, because they reminded me of the Beautiful Ones cover. So there's that. I have another one without letters. It's just smiley faces. I have Hot Ghoul. I have smiley faces that are pink. And then, well, the one that I tried to show before, I have Womp Womp. So those are the ones that I am going to be giving away this weekend. Hopefully I can get over my social anxiety and actually give them away to people. There's a few that I mentioned that I held off to the side because I did intend for them for some specific people. I have a friend in a Discord server who is going to be at BookNet Fest, and they requested that I hold aside one of the book banning ones that I was making. So I have all those to the side, and of the book banning ones, the first one I have is Censorship Sucks. So Censorship Sucks. The second one I have is going to be No to Bans. This one actually, this one can be just anyone's. I don't know why this one is in this pile. It is kind of a joke, an inside joke, pucking puck puck, basically a little fun, poking fun at the naming conventions of hockey romances. Then we have Fuck Book Bans. Oh, this one is also another one that is just held off to the side that shouldn't be in here. Hot Ghoul. We have Give Books Not Bans, and we have Read Banned Books, and then we have another one that should be in Gen Pop, but it has gotten into these that are for specific people, and that is Book Ghoul. And I made I don't know what came over me. I was just like, I'm just gonna make this just an abomination, an assault to the senses when it comes to the color palette. Do you see this color palette? No, because my face is in the way. Yeah. I was just like, I'm gonna go crazy with it. Then I have a Stay Weird bracelet, which I am hoping to give to Natalie from Weirdo Book Club, and a Reads with Rachel. Well, Reads with Rach. For Rachel of Reads with Rachel. That is all for that. And then I do have my books for the book swap. And I didn't want to give away books that are like kind of throwaway books that I'm just like, oh, I didn't like this, let me just give it away. These are books that I have read or have attempted to read, and I know that there is a good potential that they will find a good home. So the first is She Who Became the Sun and He Who Drowned the World. I loved this series, but I do not believe that I am going to reread this duology here, and so I want to pass it on to somebody else who will potentially love it just as much as I did. I have The Last Unicorn by Peter Beagle. Now this one, I thought it's a classic. In my opinion, it is a classic. I just had some issues with anachronisms that were present in this, but I do understand why people love this book. We have The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is actually one of the first books that I read when I got back into reading a few years ago, and I liked it. I really liked it then, but I do believe that if I reread it, the appreciation that I had for it would lessen, because I wouldn't say that I read this book super critically in terms of craft or pacing, and I just know that going back to it, I would have harsher opinions on those two elements of this. But hopefully somebody else will grab this and like it. The next two are Star Wars books. This is Thrawn Ascendancy, Greater Good. Is this actually? I read the first one. I haven't read this one yet. So I'm actually going to keep this one. The second one, this one is the Star Wars High Republic Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. I know Charles Soule for his comic work, and I tried to read this, but the writing just wasn't working for me. The story was something that at the time I was not super interested in, and it's not saying it's not a good premise. From what I understand, there is God, my AC must be so loud right now. There is an explosion of a spaceship and the debris is falling towards a planet, and it threatens to take out the life on the planet. And it is a multi-point of view story that goes from the people that were on the ship to people on the planet to Jedis who are on their way to save the planet, because this is the height of the Jedi, and it's basically when they're like a peacekeeping force in the galaxy. Next, we have We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faizal. Ooh. There's a little bit of damage on this one. This is definitely a little kitty damage. Oh. Oh. I hope that's fine. We'll see. But I really liked these when I read them. This one was really surprising to me. I think this was a good continuation. I really liked them, but I do not have need to hold on to these. So here's hoping they find a good home at the book swap. We have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, and this is a really good contemporary story. It follows a young Black girl who babysits for a fairly wealthy white family, and while she is babysitting, she takes the child to the grocery store, and there's a moment where there's a police interaction because they're wondering what she's doing with the young girl. And then there's also something with the mother. I think there's this insidious pressure from the mother afterwards to kind of make things right with our protagonist, because she's afraid of what our protagonist will say about her. And so there's that. I think there's also something with the husband, but I can't remember. But I very much enjoyed this book. I really want to read Come and Get It by Kylie Reed, and yeah, I enjoyed it, but it's time to move off of my shelves, unfortunately. Then we have Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. This is a story this is a fantasy. It's very fairy tale-esque. It follows 3 women and they are all have very different circumstances. We have one girl who is a farmer's daughter and her father is abusive, and she feels this obligation to work to provide because her and her siblings are starving because their father is not taking care of them. We have another young woman who she's Jewish and she is really adept at bookkeeping, and with that she provides for her family through a financial trading service, and she catches the interests of like this winter spirit fae creature, and she's kidnapped. We also have the third story of a princess who is married off to a gentleman who is not quite what he seems, and it's basically their stories of providing for their families in different ways and surviving as well. And I really enjoyed this book. This is such a good book, but I do not see myself rereading it anytime soon. And then last and final is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. This is a great book. It follows two women, Priya and Malini. One is a princess who is being punished by her brother who rules the kingdom, and Priya is an orphan who was a temple child, and it is them coming together. There's a little romance. It's Priya discovering herself, and as well as Malini trying to save herself. That is what I'll say about it. It's very good. I have not read the rest of the Burning Kingdoms trilogy, but when I do, it is going to be borrowed from the library, so there's no need for me to have a physical copy of this book.
Discovering a genre together by going through the history, and we're starting with romance. The first episode is already out, and we read the very first romance horror called Pamela.
Reading under threat. We will be discussing book banning, the defunding of libraries, as well as media literacy.
Yay! So hi, I'm Sam from Hot Sauce Homes. If you guys don't know me, I'm one of the founders of BookNet Fest. And one of the reasons I'm moderating this panel is because this whole event was built out of a bookish friendship from online spaces, right?
I just got back from Orlando on Thursday and Friday. I was there for BookNet Fest, and I had a great time. It was such a wonderful event. I haven't been to many bookish events, but from the few disasters that I have heard of this past year alone, I have to say that this is probably at the top. If you have to go to one, I would say go to BookNet Fest, and I will be returning next year. So my thoughts on it. On Friday, there was registration. I dropped off my books for the book swap that was happening on Saturday after the event concluded, and then it was the meet and greet, which was a little extra paid for thing that I opted into. The event, at least when I bought it, was $45 for just flat BookNet Fest with the panels. The meet and greet, I can't remember how much it was. And then there was also the prom, which was an add-on. I did both of those. The meet and greet was really fun, and it really made you interact, really pushed you to go out of your shell. We each got bingo cards, and each square you had to go and find someone who had done the event activity that was on the square until you got a blackout. You had to find someone who had traveled to the event by plane, someone who traveled to the event by car, get a book recommendation from someone. You had to make a TikTok with somebody. Andrew was kind enough to do that with me. You had to find someone who read your favorite book, so on and so forth until you got all of them. You could only use the same person twice. So it really had you talking to people that you would not normally talk to. I did get to meet some online friends in real life for the first time, and they were wonderful, so wonderful. For that day, the first panel started with a panel on dark romance, and we had Mari, who was the moderator for the panel. You better not be stealing my spotlight. Natalie from Weirdo Book Club, Gracie from, I believe her handle is Grapey Del Taco on TikTok, but I do not know what it is on YouTube. I do follow her, but I just don't know what it is. And then Lo from The Well-Read Nurse. It was really good, really insightful on like why people read dark romance, what's the draw, where dark romance fits in with like the romance genre. Gracie's answer was really interesting because she mentioned how she views the dark romance as horror in an aspect, especially since she reads like monster dark romances. I thought that was very interesting. The next panel I went to was the panel on book banning. We had Rachel from Reads with Rachel. We had C.I. Perez, a Latina author, and we had Ray from Ray the Reviewer. This was also a very insightful panel, and it was moderated by Carmen from Tomes and Textiles. I believe everyone on the panel was from Florida, and that gave a very first-hand experience of how book banning is affecting everyone, because book banning in Florida is really rampant. It's in schools, it's in public libraries, it's everywhere. And they had very good advice on how one can get involved with fighting against book bans. And that was the end of the day for me. I missed, I believe, like the last 2 time slots for panels because I was very socially tired, and me and some friends were going to go see Sinners because we hadn't seen it, but we wanted to go to the Sinners panel that was happening on Saturday. So we went and did our research, and that movie, oh my god, it was amazing. There is so much to dissect with it, and those on the panel for Sinners and The Power of Black Storytelling did such a good job. I wish that the panel was more than an hour just so I could hear more of what they had to say. But that's not the first panel that I went to on Saturday. The first panel was about like the bookish space and fostering friendships in the space, and that had Naya, Natalie, Lizzie, and Chloe on it. That was also really good. It was really touching. It was really funny, and it was also really insightful. It's just about creating boundaries and also just reading cues and just not taking things personal, because sometimes you just don't vibe with people, and that is okay. And you will find someone in the bookish space that you will vibe with, and it's amazing. Next, I accidentally sat in on the nonfiction panel. See, what happened was after the Friendship and Books panel, I was done with my like tumbler of water, and I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and then when I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the pool, or actually no, I was gonna go get lunch because it was like 11ish, and I just need to eat lunch around noon. And the break was like 1:30 to 3 for this day, but I had already checked out, and of the hotel. I come out of the bathroom and I have my big ass tote purse. I'm walking to an area to sit so I can order food. And I panic and I'm like, where is my tumbler? And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot it in the room. And oh shit, the panel's already starting. So I do a little power walk to the front of the room where the table is, and my tumbler is not there. And I sit down and I'm like, what the heck? And I feel my big ass tote bag, and I had stuffed my empty tumbler into my tote bag before going into the bathroom, and I was already sitting there. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here and listen to this. I did order food while I was in there, and I did leave a little bit early, but all that being said, I'm so glad that I was stuck in the panel because it was actually so amazing. We had Caitlin, Kist, Rachel, and Nicole talking about nonfiction. It was very, very interesting. I think you can tell how passionate they are about the nonfiction that they read. I loved the bit where Rachel was giving off recommendations specifically related to octopus is octopedes, octopi. When I was young in Latin, in my Latin class, I had a very long discussion about like what the correct plural form of octopus should be, because it's a Greek word. It would end in like E-D-E-S, octopedes, but that's neither here nor there. Of course, in English, octopi is, I believe, a correct form, and I think octopuses is also a correct form. Anyway, I loved how many books she had to recommend that dealt with octopi. I really enjoyed Gist and his perspective of how, when asked how like his reading has changed, he was very open about like, well, as a straight white guy, I read a lot of history books that focused on the perspective of straight white guys, and how basically his reading has expanded from that by so much. He had great recommendations as well. I literally got most of my recommendations. I have a list of recommendations, and the majority of them are from the nonfiction panel. Then there was lunch, and I hung out by the pool with my friends, and then we had Sinners and the Power of Black Storytelling, and that was moderated by Mari, and we had Addie, Ray, and Jamila who were on that, and I already went over like how good it was. It was so good. That was probably, that and nonfiction were really good. I think Sinners was probably my favorite panel of it, and after that we had Hot Takes and Hard Truths, which was with Sam and Mari. It was basically, they asked questions to everyone. It was hot take questions. I enjoyed how called out Mari felt with the first question being, what classic needs to like stop being talked about? Someone said Pride and Prejudice, which I also was like, oh, I don't think so. I love Pride and Prejudice. That is so good. The other one was just like, what current book is going to be a future classic? And Morgan mentioned jokingly A Court of Thorns and Roses, and Mara is just like, are you guys trolling me? What is going on here? It was such a funny moment. And then it was the book haul, and let me show you guys what I got from the book haul. This will be the section where I talk about what I got. So some of the things that were handed out were reviews are for readers from Reads with Rachel. Hi Rachel. I got Bookish Witch from, I believe, Cat. I got 2 bookmarks, both from the word nerd, Margaret. And she gave me these during prom where I got extremely drunk. We had a conversation about D&D, which I think that I may have hogged the conversation, and if I did, I am so sorry. These bookmarks are so beautiful. I cannot stop staring at the one that says I went on an adventure and all I got was this stupid bookmark. It's so cute. I bought from the New Romantics bookstore, who was there on Friday. I Read Banned Books magnetic bookmark. I also got a cute little, what are they called? It's not a pop socket, but it is a pop socket. No, the off-brand pop socket. That is like a stamp, a 5-cent stamp. That is a pop socket, yeah. That is cherries. A 5-cent cherry stamp. And I also got a book there, and this is one that I see all the time that I want to buy every time I see it, and that is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I see it all the time and I always want to grab it, and I hear such fun things about it. Before I get to the books that I got in the swap, let me show you the books that I got from the authors that were there. And I got these Friday from Isabel Olomo. I got The Rose of Swede and The Last Ballot. I'm so sorry if I'm saying those wrong. And I got a bookmark with them. For Queen and Conqueror, there was a beautiful version of Queen and Conqueror on that table, but I did have to choose one thing, and I had to balance the books that I got from the tables because I did want to support everyone. And I thought that this 2-story novella was a good go-to for that. I got At the Island's Edge by C.I. Jerez, who was the author who spoke on the book banning panel. I got Miss Thornfield's Daring Bargain from the Troublemakers trilogy by Addie Dulac, and Addie was one of the speakers at The Sinners and the Power of Black Storytelling. And then from Natalia Hernandez, I got A Siri in the Amaru. Oh, that also came with, I also bought with that. This was technically for the 3rd book in her Name Bearer trilogy, but I thought this was so dang cute, and this came with A Siri and the Amaru, this beautiful beaded keychain. But no, I saw this and I was like, I need to have it. I have to have it. So I did buy that as well. And it was really hard not to buy the Name Bearer, which is the first of that trilogy. And yeah, there were such good goodies and everyone was giving stuff to each other. It was so nice. So I had the 10 books that I gave to the book haul, and the way that worked is they would give you a ticket for each book that you gave to the book haul, and there was a line, there was a huge number of books, and it was 6 people to 1 table at a time, and each person was allowed to use 3 of their tickets. And then after turning in those 3 tickets, if you wanted more, you would have to go back in line. And I really liked that system. It also did help me realize that I have no business getting 10 more books. A part of the reason why I gave those books to the book swap is because I wanted them to find a good home. It had nothing to do with wanting more books. So I gave 7 of those tickets away and just got 3 books, and those 3 books were And the Sky Bled by S. Chatty, and this is a bindery book, and it's from Fantasy and Ferns, and the reviewer behind this bindery is Zoran Host. Then I was really lucky in grabbing the Unmapping by Denise S. Robbins from Mari's bindery. Oh, and it's signed. I didn't even realize that. That's amazing. And then I got one that has been on my TBR for forever, and that is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. That is such a funny coincidence because one of the books that I swapped was Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, so she's meant for me. And yeah, and then there was Prom, where I got extremely drunk and probably talked too much, and I am not going to think about it, but it was very, very fun. I'm so glad that I met so many amazing people at the event, and I cannot wait to go back next year on May 15th and 16th at the Drury Hotel in Orlando, Florida. And that's it for me. Bye!